All right, so I haven't been doing a whole lot with MicroPython. Um, let's see. Let's open what's on the Pico right now. MainPy. Let's open MainPy. 4,248 bytes. I wonder what is the max MainPy for a Pico. I should look that up. So, for machine, import pin and pulse width modulation, import U-time. And down here I have my eyes. I changed my eye pins are now 6 and 7. So that would be 6 and 7 is down here. Is actually 9 and 10. But that's GP6 and GP7 over here. Left eye and right eye. They're set to pull down. I got rid of this. Previously, I had a fading the eyeball LEDs, but I was messing up my pins for some reason. It was making my LEDs itself not work regularly as on and off and toggle. So I got rid of that right now. I just commented that out. We'll get back to that later. We'll do some fading stuff later with LEDs. But the mouth pins are now 9, 10, and 11. So that's on the same side over here. So that's on the board. That's 12, 14, and 15. These are the old pulse width modulation values. The board LED, the buzzer. I don't have the buzzer back on yet. My piezo buzzer I need to put back on. I'm looking for something louder, but I'll probably put back on the one that I have. I still have it. The buzzer, the piezo buzzer is as pulse width modulation on 15. Um, this is my left and right arm. Pulse width modulation 1 should be left arm. Pin 0, so that's now up at the top. I think I did change that. I don't know what it was previously, but now it is GP0, literally pin 1 in the top left. And we got 16, 16 and 17. So yeah, that's bottom right corner. 16 and 17 for the neck, head, servo, and the other arm, the right arm should be. So it's on. Stop, run, but as you can see, it's not doing anything. I don't have it on a loop right now. I changed all of the movements as functions. So we're not going to move the head. I could move the head. I don't think it would do anything, but I just don't want the head to jerk around right now. I'm going to leave that alone. Let's do, so I'm going to go down here to the shell. And the power on blink, this is the LED I'm toggling in this function. But this is for the LED on the back of the board, so I'm not going to do that either. I'm going to move down to this function, the eye sequence, and the mouse sequence. So I can do eyes, sequence, and then you have to put the parentheses and press enter. And it should flash and stay on. There we go. Heck yeah. And then if I run it again, then it should blink and stay off. So that's cool. That function is basically my eyes LED switch. So I'm sending commands from the laptop through the shell to the Pico. And this is still the Pico RP2040. This is the Pico 1, the original. I would like the Wi-Fi Pico. I'm not really interested in digging into the Pico 2 yet. There's a whole nother discussion, but I like developing the Pico 1 still so far. With the Wi-Fi, I wonder if I could get wireless shell. If I could like SSH into the Pico and then have that as almost wireless control, that would be awesome to send commands to. That would make this much more cooler. But for now, I'm connected to USB cable. I don't have any pre-programmed sequence. I'm running the function sequences manually like this for now. Let's go ahead. So now, you can get what you previously typed, just like any other shell. It stays on. We're going to do the mouth sequence and turn on the mouth LEDs. And now we got the mouth on there. So it's lit up. We can keep scrolling down. That mouth sequence is supposed to work with the buzzer. I'm kind of remapping some of the servos and stuff. So arms, servo sequence A. Don't forget the parentheses. Just quick little movement there. I don't want this to get in the way. Okay, that should be fine. Arm, servo sequence B. So this is cool. This is where I'm at right now. I'm gonna work on the code, trying to do more interesting things with the code. Obviously, develop the arms, get some forearm movement going on there. The same thing. The arm development is basically gonna lead to leg development. I have more of these batteries, so even while I was brain blasting, designing, doing the design for the torso battery mount, I guess we'll call it. I was thinking of putting these guys like side by side and running them in the legs, like a thigh piece that's also a battery pack. I'm thinking of keeping the weight down, lower center of gravity. Thinking that might be good for balancing the robot, especially we got all this electronics and heavy head and stuff like that. So future design, when I start doing the legs, I definitely want to build some weight into the legs. At least that's where my mind is at right now. Let's go ahead and run another function. The eye blink. Blinks both of them. Get a double blink. Cool. So we can run the eye sequence to turn them off. Flash and off. We can run the eye sequence to turn them back on. And then we can run the blink. Nice. Cool. Let's go ahead and run arm servo sequence C. There we go. These batteries, these 18350s fully charged, are doing like almost 5 volts. So that's perfect. These are really, one of these single is perfect. I get enough battery power. I ran the sequence in a loop for a while, enough to test and play around with. So this is totally fine for bench testing and bench running. The battery life is fine. What was I going to say? If I up the voltage, if I wired them in a series, I guess, then we have to regulate back down. So fully charged, you get like 4.9, almost 5 volts out of a fully charged 3.7 volts 18350, and that works great for the board. The board will have lots of power, and then you have run it all the way down. I got good use out of it down to 3.9, 3.7 volts, just about nominal, and then I'll swap batteries out. I have my little adjusting screws. I'll just loosen them a little bit, pop that battery out, pop a new one in, tighten it back up again. You can see my battery mounting posts. I just have the wire wrapped around. I'm so happy with that design because it works. It works, and because I did it with stuff that I had on hand. So if I go all the way down here, here's the eye fade. So the eye fade is the only one that doesn't work right now. I can run the last arm sequence, I guess. There we go, huh? Okay, there we go. We just did all the arm sequences. I need to edit arms SSA because that has the only one that has an S at the end of it. Sometimes that messes me up when I'm writing it. But there we go. So we have arm servo sequence A, B, C, and D. We have some light sequences and only one mouth sequence so far. Um, I believe so. Oh yeah, other than the other talking one, which we could just run. That's the only other thing I got. Basically, you saw them all. Yeah, that one does weird. That one's not working very well. I need to rewrite that one. That's to go with the buzzer, and then it also, I don't even think it's mapped correctly. So this one needs work. I'll go ahead and put a comment that this one needs work. Everything else works, checks out, other than the fade. The fading sequence is not working. So I think I want to write, going from here, I was looking into making um, an array in MicroPython, which I haven't done before. I've been doing lots of web development, so I'm thinking of like JavaScript and PHP type coding. I haven't played around with Python or hardware in a minute. It's been a while. It's been longer than a minute. In about 2 years, probably. I haven't really been playing around with MicroPython. I want to research, dig into building code for MicroPython as a state machine. And I want to really quickly, I think just for some like display, for a display loop, I want to just run a while true statement that selects one of these sequence functions from a list or an array randomly, and then it'll just keep randomly selecting a function sequence just as a some like display code for Servoman himself. So that probably is not too hard, but I'm just brain dead. I've been 3D printing and I've been free CADing and 3D printing all these iterations. The head was a one shot, guys. From concept to CAD to 3D print, and this is the only version of this head that exists. I 3D printed one, and I kind of fit the servos. It's a pretty tight friction fit, but the servos fit in there. I'm sure the hardware and everything fits in there. The LEDs fit in there. The lid fit perfectly. I printed them both at the same time. So that's awesome. So happy with that. I'm running low on filament too. I'm like almost out of filament printing these torso pieces and that final torso piece and then the head and then the arms. I have barely any filament left, so there was no room for mistake there. Really happy I got it done. Just so I can enjoy it. You know, when you work really hard and then you can't get that finish, or maybe you need more parts and you can't run it or really play with it, that's like really dissatisfying. Because yeah, you don't get to experience what you made. But when you have everything you need, I used batteries that I had and did everything. It was all successful. So yay. Um, it gets to be there, and I get to look at it, play with it, show it off. I have these old switches too, stuff that I had on hand when I was warming up to starting this design iteration phase. I had this button wired up, I think, to like GPIO 1, just under the servo GP0. And I think I did a pull down. I think I wired one side to ground rail and one side to GP1 on normally pull up. And then so when you push the button, it connects to ground and pulls it down. And then I was having that button run I think I was just making the LED blink or something like that, but obviously you could have it run program to a function sequence. And that's cool. You're doing some button interaction, but it's wired. Obviously, everybody wants wireless. So I'm thinking that a Wi-Fi Pico, and I could SSH into the shell and send commands. I think that would be really cool. And then obviously some type of wired remote. If I just throw a radio module on it, that would also be very cool. And like I said, cameras or motion sensor or something else is definitely like just a broad area of where I'm going with things that I want to add. All right, so going from here, I think tonight it is 5/6/26. What is today? It's Wednesday. Should be tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, but I will upload this whole kit, this whole version 0.3.5 will be on my Colts page most immediately. That's probably the first thing I do will be that going from here. So we should be able to get the head, the torso, the arms, the new arms. I mean, I might go ahead and put both versions of the arms. And these little stubby legs will be all in one zip file on my Colts page. It'll probably be really cheap, probably just a couple bucks or something like that. Or I might make it open and just have like donation or whatever. Um, so that'll probably be the most immediate thing for anybody that's interested. You can download it all and get started and build your own Servoman version 0.3.5. Um, Other than that, I'm thinking of, I mean, you have the files, you have everything you need, but I'm thinking of also putting it on, maybe on Git. I might put it on my GitHub and just open source Servoman, kind of like maybe just to do it. I don't know. I could put my code up there, and then obviously that'll be more. I mean, I could have the STL files also on my GitHub, but more importantly, the code, I guess, for people that are building their own, and just another place to get my code, I guess, backup code library, or if you guys want to upload your own code, I guess that might be a cool way to do it. Let me know if you think I should put Servoman on my GitHub. But other than that, the STL files are going to be on my Colts page. I think it's Perez Distribution LLC and Colts at Colts, whatever. Colts at Perez Distribution LLC, whatever. My Colt page. The link will be in the description. Um, my Kofi, as always, I haven't made any of the new diagrams or anything like that. I might do another fritzing diagram. Other than that, I kind of went through the pin changes that I made as far as the kind of repinning the LEDs and remapping the servos and the LEDs a little bit. Not too much. I didn't make very big changes. Like I already have it here. The eyes became 6 and 7. The mouth became 9, 10, and 11. And the servos are literally GP0 for the left arm, GP16 for the right arm, and GP17 for the head. The buzzer is on 15 in the bottom left corner. So not very big changes to the wiring or pin out there. I want to get some relays for other projects. I think for Babe Poppy's Power Wheel, I want to get some relays for that. I'm running low on silver. I need some solder. This is all I have left. I'm empty of silver. Luckily silver's cheap. I think I'm gonna go to my Altex here in San Antonio and pick up a tube of silver solder. More servos. I need more servos. I have to look through all my stuff. My work table, everything is a mess right now. I thought I had some Metal Gear servos somewhere, at least two, and I could play around with further developing the arm or get started on some legs would be great. Um, if I can't find them though, then the project will be on hold. We'll probably stay here at version 3.5. You know, legs will be like an official version 4 or 4.5 or something like that. Um, so we're gonna sit tight with where we're at and what we have. We're gonna play around more with code. I really need to expand my knowledge on MicroPython. I might have to write a version in C. I might have to mess around with Raspberry Pi Pico coding in C. I always wanted to. I don't know why I haven't. Just lazy because MicroPython kind of works and you don't have to compile it. But I feel like professionally, you should have C experience. So maybe I should do that finally. No promises. Well, check out my website. Like I said, I haven't been working on Servoman because my biggest project lately, most recently, has been lightbeamgiftco.com. If you guys want to support, help me buy project parts. um, Other than the Kofi and Colts, then definitely lightbeamgiftco.com. Any purchase you make helps. I think that's it. I think that's it, folks. If you have ideas or comments, let me know what's up.